Well, out some local woods this morning, trying to catch the last remnants of fall. Yeah, just taking a walk. The light doesn't look too bad today, not bad. It's kind of coming and going. A little bit harsh sometimes, but kind of soft at other times. So maybe I'll find something good to photograph. But I was hoping to catch a little bit more of the last color of fall, but this forest that I'm in is mostly evergreens, so not too many deciduous trees. So not sure I'm gonna get what I want. And I'm thinking from what I'm seeing here, I'm probably gonna have to think close up and more zoomed in because there's so much clutter. This is a normal Northwest forest, which I tell you about a lot. So anyway, I'm gonna walk and see what I see here. So we've been getting some really crazy stormy weather lately. We just had the succession of kind of late fall, early winter storms in the Northwest that we get. It's the most dramatic weather I think we get here is really kind of November or December, really, maybe a little bit in January, but the big high wind storms and things like that usually happen in those months. And we've definitely had some of those, so it's really blown a lot of trees down. We had power outages yesterday. We've had some really high, almost flood conditions in some of the rivers from massive amounts of rain. So, yeah, a lot of that going on. It's nice today though, and it's kind of cold, but it's that nice fall time of year, and I'm just out seeing what I can see. I'm not sure I'm gonna find some great photography opportunity here. I don't know, but I'm gonna give it a try. See what I see. Yeah, just gonna enjoy that. Yeah, it's funny. We get a lot of moss on these trees here, and so much moss that ferns actually start to grow out of the moss on the trees. It's crazy. That's what happens when you get as much steady rain for long periods here in the Northwest for quite a few months of the year. Pretty interesting. So one thing I'm seeing out here is seeing a lot of foliage on the ground and leaves on the ground that I'm kind of interested in, because what I'm really trying to get today is kind of a fall scene. You know, we're getting into winter here, and most of our leaves are down on the ground now. I'm a little late on this day, but I am seeing a lot of interesting things, and I'm kind of looking for the right combination of things on the ground. Yeah, I really like a nice macro shot of a beautiful arrangement of leaves, and maybe even with some ferns or some fallen trees. You know, I love the texture of bark, and especially when it's a little wet like it is today. You know, it's been raining so much, so I really love that. So my eyes are peeled here. I'm looking for that as I'm walking along. I haven't quite seen what I'm looking for yet. You know, there's infinite variations of arrangements, and I'm looking for the natural arrangement that's just here before my eyes that I can maybe get a macro shot on, is kind of what I'm looking for. I love that kind of thing, you know, because it's always unique. It's not something that somebody else is going to take the photo that you're finding, and that's something I really like. So I'm going to continue to look here. I'm approaching a big swampy area coming up, and I'm going to look around there too. But I saw a couple interesting things that I passed, but I may walk back to those, but we'll have to see here. But yeah, there's some potential, but I gotta keep my eyes looking and see what I can find. So. Okay, so this photograph I actually took on a different day, but it was in the same vicinity and a very similar weather day. So I wanted to show it just to give you an example of what I was talking about there. Something like this is what I look for a lot. I love it. There's so much I like about it. There's a lot of contrasts here. I love the green vines there in contrast with the downed log and the leaves there that are actually blending into the log, and the tones are just beautiful. I like the composition too with this diagonal of the bark of the wood. But I just wanted to show this as an example of what I was talking about and looking for. I didn't find it on this day, but yeah, beautiful photograph, and yeah, I love this. So one thing that's interesting here is, I've got this really big tree here, as you can see. And I'm kind of zoomed out. I think I'll zoom in here. Yeah. As I get close to this moss on the tree, and I love this. When you get really close, you can see these tiny little mushrooms growing out of the moss on the tree. Little colonies of mushrooms. It's beautiful. Living their lives there. Really cool. Yeah, that's what you get in these rainforest-like conditions we have here. Really interesting. All right, so I did try this photograph that I was talking about here with the mushrooms in the background, the tiny mushrooms on the tree. And I'll have to see how that turns out, but I got a great spot here. But yeah, I tried that, and we'll have to see how that turns out. Yeah, that could be interesting, but I did use my 70-200 lens, as you can see there, which I find really works good in these situations where you can't get up super close with the tripod. And so you just zoom in. You can zoom in really tight. I did do some focus stacking here, which, so I'm going to combine frames. When you have a super zoomed in shot like this, a macro shot, the depth of field turns out to be really shallow. And so if you want a lot of in focus areas, usually you'll want to do a focus stack, which means, as many shots as you want that are focused in slightly different areas. These cameras these days, will do that for you. You can automatically set up for it to do like a 10-shot focus stack or whatever it is you want. And so in this case, I just did 6, and I'll have to see if that's okay. But usually is. But I need more. I'll take a closer look here. But I find a lot of times I don't use the focus stacks, even though I do it because I think I need it. But usually I can find one frame that makes me happy. I don't have to have everything perfectly in focus necessarily, although it depends on the shot. But this one maybe so. So I'll see. Yeah, take a look at this and see what we get. All right, so another shot I got here is just this tree. Some pretty cool textures, which maybe you can see on the back of my big camera there. Yeah, pretty interesting. I'm still using the 70-200 lens, so I'm zoomed in really tight. But yeah, a lot of times these kinds of detail shots are what I like, especially when we're out here on a day like this where pretty flat light and lots of clutter. So I automatically start to think about zooming in close, which is what I've done there. Yeah, so I'll take that home and see. And I oftentimes like those types of shots. So yeah, let's just see about that and see if we got something okay there. Yeah. All right, well, I'm gonna wrap this up. I didn't find exactly what I was looking for here. But I took a few shots of a couple things that I thought were interesting, but don't have any high expectations on those things. But in any case, still, as always, getting out for a little hike whenever I can. Yeah, that's the way to go. I have to say one thing too, time is so valuable. I feel like I never have enough time to do this as much as I want to. That's a bummer. So, kind of goes to show you, your time is really the most precious asset that I think we have in our lives, really. So, yeah, a little philosophy there. So I'm gonna try to hike on out of here and see what the rest of the day holds. Okay, so this photograph I liked. The day didn't offer really what I was looking for, but it's almost always that way. And so you have to find what you can. And here, I was really looking close, and actually, amazingly, I took most of these pictures around this one tree, and I really like this. This is an abstract, and if you've listened to me talk much about photography, you know that I really like abstract photography, and that's what this is. What I like here is just these amazing textures and colors that I see in this photograph. I love that that sort of bluish gray tone on the right side, which is a contrast with this middle section that's kind of this brown and a little bit of that burnt bark there. I like the way the photograph flows. Yeah, and then the green moss, just sets it all off. And I think the combination of these colors works well. And so this is the kind of photograph I like to print, and big. And it's the kind of thing I like to put on the wall, but I like abstracts like this. But yeah, I came away pretty happy with this. Yeah, I'd love to know what you think.